Hey guys, Larry here with Hindsight. Just wanted to bring you up to speed on some of the things I've got going on. I'm going to try to do a better job making some more videos because I think I do a lot of stuff that people would be interested in. Maybe not, but I do work on a lot of stuff because that's kind of my release after a good hard day at work. I come home and go back to work in my garage. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today. See the Rambler. Rambler's participated on a few videos that are in the group. Most of it just traveling places like Louisville for an event or some other place like that where that car went. Car started consuming coolant. His 80,000 mile original car. Little old lady bought it in St. Louis. I got records and logbooks and all that kind of stuff. The inline 6 with 3-speed on the tree. Engine started using coolant and burning oil. So it'd burn about a quart every 500 miles of each. So the engine had to come out. Wasn't going to fix it. Wasn't going to put another 6-cylinder back in it. Used it as an excuse to, we're going to upgrade it a little bit. Another car right there. There's the Fuck It, Drive It Monte Carlo SS Aero Coupe. Been on power tour the last 2 years. Built that car in about 4 months last year from something that had rusted floors and locked up engine, no functional transmission and everything. But I don't think I've done a good build video on that car, and it's probably deserving of it. We'll get into that one later on. I will do a bunch of videos here in the next few weeks and months, and we'll get underneath that car and we'll get inside that car and we'll talk about that car a little bit, and then we're also going to talk about this car. Like I said, took the engine out of it, took that as an opportunity to do a few things to it that it really just needed. I mean, it's a cool looking car, Rambler wagon. V8 swapping it. Years ago, I thought that I'd put a Hemi in it, late model Hemi. I'm currently working on a Dakota swap with a late model Hemi in it, and I don't know if I'm going to do very much more late model Hemi stuff outside of the 70 Coronet that I'm also building that's getting ready to get painted right now. So yeah, I got lots of cars with stuff going on. But this one, took it up to Henderson Race Shop up in Trimble, Missouri. Troy does great work. He's a drag racer. I mean, he builds some really nice, clean, fast cars. Worked on Bob's car, the DeSoto that you guys see in the video, but super nice guy. Took it up and dropped it off. Was just going to put a rear end in it and then put some motor mounts in it for an LS. We did the motor mounts. We also did Mustang 2 front end, rack and pinion steering, new steering column, all that kind of stuff. He built, pads for the motor mounts and everything. He's got all that stuff set up in there. It is set up for a 4L80 transmission that we'll talk about later. That project's maybe already changed. He cut the strut towers out of it from the coil spring over upper control arm suspension. I don't know if you're familiar with AMC, but it looks like a early Mustang front suspension if you're familiar with that, where the coil spring sets up on top of the upper control arm. It needed all that stuff rebuilt, and why spend $1,200 to rebuild it with new springs and everything when you can, spend $5 or $6 and put a Mustang 2 front end under it, right? Other things. Troy fabricated subframe connectors. That's what the ladder bar mount goes to. Fabricated a transmission mount. Also fabricated some brackets to tie the ladder bar mount to the transmission mount that are removable. They just bolt in and out. The rear end is a 9-inch. Now it's completely and totally overkill because it's a fabricated 9-inch housing. Super heavy duty. It's got coilovers on it in the back. Yeah, 275 60-15s that tuck in under it. Wheel wells on this car are huge, so no modifications had to be made for that. We just had to cut the rear end to the right width. These are the wheels that are going to get run on the car. I like the steel wheel look. Rears will not have any kind of hubcap, I don't believe, on it. The fronts will. But it's going to be a fun car. Now that it's back, I've got a fuel tank coming from Rock Valley. Fuel injection style fuel tank. Like I said, it's going to get an LS. We'll get into more of that later. What all is going to happen with that. The transmission part of it. 4L80. I've got one sitting in there on the floor for it. But my mind has wandered off onto something else, and I may be doing an 8 HP Chrysler transmission in it. More than likely I'll be doing an 8 HP in it to get the extra strength as well as the extra gears. I think it'll make it crazy more drivable. It's not going to be a huge horsepower car. My intent is to end up somewhere between 600 and 700 horsepower to the wheels, and we'll figure out how we're going to get there later. I have a couple different options available for that, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, just wanted to make a quick video kind of introducing you back to the car, and I will be following up with you more and do a better job of creating videos for you guys to critique me on, as well as encourage me, hopefully. Thanks. And now we welcome back my wonderful assistant slash girlfriend slash Mary. Smile. They can't see the smile. Yeah, she's inspecting their work. Make sure everything looks like they did it right. She's out here helping me unload the car. My driveway is not quite wide enough. You got to jackknife it to get it lined up into the shop. So she's going to go put it in neutral here in just a second for me. And then she can steer it off as I push it. All right, so now we got it inside. We got it up in the air. I can walk under it. There's a better shot of the rear axle assembly. And I get to take it all out now. See where they plated the rear subframe, made the bracket. They were trying not to jack up my spare tire well very much. So that's why that's a little tight, but it's all serviceable. The bolt comes in from the right direction and everything. Rear end's just pretty massive. And you can see we got quite a bit of room. You know, the 275/60 clears pretty well. Inside. Whoop. I can't get a good shot on that from this angle, but now we're moving forward. All the tubing's a little bit bigger than normal. It's 3/16 wall tube instead of the lighter weight stuff. Built that because it's a street car and it's kind of a heavy car. So he made it all a little extra strong. Yeah. Subframe connectors contoured to follow the floor. E-brake cables tucked up out of the way for now, but let's see. Transmission mount. Just got welded nuts in there to hold that. Here's the money shot looking backwards at everything. And then we go up here. Here's the back of the block. So that is the oil pan that I'll be running on the other engine when it goes in. But the kit came complete, you know, typical GM metric calipers on the front, the fancy wavy rotors, and that's all stuff that Troy ordered to put underneath the front end. AMC is really wide in the front, found out. That ordered the right track width kit and then had to widen the cross members. So that's why she's done like that. She braced up and plug welded and refinished. It's all solid and ready to go. And then he had to make new mounting brackets to hang on for the steering rack. But it's all good. Motor mount's a little fancy on this side. Kind of hangs to the back. On these aluminum blocks, I could drill these other holes up here and mount it, but this is just the mock-up block. I think the Gen 4 block has those mounting holes. I'll have to look. I got one of those here too. Gen 4 iron block. I know that my aluminum blocks do. But see where they plated the front frame and everything. She's plenty strong. Should go down the road good. I'm excited. Now I get to take it all back apart and clean it, paint it, get her ready for the prom. So, like I said, the Rambler, we were going to make 600 to 700 horsepower to the wheels, something like that. And I had several choices on how I was going to go about doing that. Here's a 6.2 that I recently picked up for next to nothing, complete takeout. Had an auction where a guy had passed away. That's the same place this 65 Chevy pickup came from. This thing has a small block 4-speed car type transmission in it. Other than that, it's just 65 Chevy pickup. Anyway, this thing is one of the Recport LS engines, like an L92 truck engine, all aluminum block heads. So it's basically a Gen 4 LS. Got the big pan on it, all that kind of happy jazz. Yeah, so what's the easiest way to make good horsepower? Add boost. So as long as this engine checks out to be what I think it's going to be, should be fine. If it spins, it wins, right? According to Richard Holdner. This one spins. Well, I had a package arrive today. You can see the name on the side of it there. Yeah, Magnuson. They make Boost products. And I've already opened the box.
What's in a box?
I was going to do just a reveal type deal, but the box had a little mark on it that I wanted to open outside before I moved it to make sure everything was good and safe on the inside. But there we go. Got one of them there superchargers down here in the box. So why am I going supercharger and not putting turbos on it? Well, this is easier from a plumbing standpoint as far as I'm concerned. I like the thought of it being instantaneous boost, that I can set it basically and forget it. There's a lot of simplicity with a supercharger in my opinion. I know the turbo thing's simple too, but this in my opinion sounds cool, looks cool, whole 9 yards. Now, this is all subject to this fitting under the hood, which I think it will. Magnuson's an OE supplier for a lot of stuff too. So, good quality piece. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update on how I'm planning on making my horsepower number with that car.